ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste, all of you. Welcome back to yet another session of Introduction to Vedanta. As you all must be observing, these topics have been taught very elaborately and painstakingly by our Guru Swami Paramarthananda. We are presently in the eighth topic in this series, namely Bhakti Yoga. Having completed the previous 7 topics, which I will quickly recall. The first topic Swamiji did was on Purusharthas, the human goals. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, as envisaged by our great scriptures or Shastras. Our second topic was Shastras itself. Swamiji gave us a bird's eye view, taking us through 6 levels of our vast scriptural literature, especially literature written in the Sanskrit language. Then we learnt about the Varna Dharma, which is a infrastructure designed to assist the individuals in society to serve society. The 4 varnas being Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. How through the practice of karma yoga, etc., the individual can live in harmony with the society around himself or herself. Then we went on to the ashrama dharma, namely the brahmacharya ashrama, grihastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama, and sannyasa ashrama. A framework or a guide map designed by our Shastras to assist the individual. The focus being on the individual, to assist the individual to grow spiritually and utilize this God given human janma, a very rare happening, to achieve Shreyas, the Parama Purushartha, namely Moksha, which will be the culmination of the spiritual aspirant's journey through many millions of human janmas, not to talk about the other species in which the jiva must have definitely been born, but it is only in the human janma that one can aspire to achieve moksha through jnanam. This was the 4th topic. The fifth, sixth, and seventh, namely Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, form the three important rungs of the spiritual ladder using which the aspirant can comfortably land on the cushion of moksha. Karma Yoga, as Swamiji very clearly taught us, involves proper action with proper attitude. So that was Karma Yoga. Then Upasana Yoga, Swamiji looked at it as a personality development or integration program, integrating the various layers of our personality to work in harmony, to work as a team, to help us achieve the goal. And then came the all important Jnana Yoga, in which the spiritual aspirant goes through three stages to gain the ultimate knowledge about himself or herself. The stages being Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. Shravanam being a, a duration during which the student systematically learns about the various teachings in our Vedanta through a consistent and systematic teaching and learning process for a length of time under the guidance of a competent live spiritual acharya as defined by Swamiji. Then the process of mananam, in which the student mulls over the teaching received from his guru and tries to clarify all forms of doubts that may arise during the Shravanam stage. Because as Swamiji says, it is only digested food that nourishes the human body. And likewise, it is only assimilated knowledge, clear knowledge, that can assist one in on the spiritual journey. So that is mananam. And nididhyasanam is to recollect the teaching, to orient our minds in line with the teachings of the Vedas, the Vedanta, to remove all preconceived notions that have been deposited in our subconscious minds over the course of this janma, not only this janma, but several millions of janmas, human janmas, and other janmas that we have been through, and align ourselves with the teachings of our scriptures so that we get the full benefit of the knowledge that we received from the Guru. So, Jnana Yoga was the seventh topic that we covered. Now, we are in the eighth topic, as you all know, called Bhakti Yoga. In Bhakti Yoga, Swamiji looks at bhakti from two angles. One is Bhakti, from a general perspective, from a vyavaharika perspective or laukika perspective or a transactional perspective, and bhakti from the perspective or bhakti when it involves devotion to God. So, two aspects to understand bhakti, a very important topic in our scriptures, a very profound topic. So, Swamiji looked at three degrees of intensity of bhakti, namely Mandha Bhakti, Madhyama Bhakti, and Uttama or Tivra Bhakti. Mandha Bhakti, Swamiji said, was the love for the means bhakti. Madhyama Bhakti is the love for the ends or the end, and Tivra Bhakti is the love for one's own self. Extending these three levels, how does bhakti work in relation with God is what we were looking at in the last capsules. Swamiji said Mandha Bhakti is looking at God as the means. The means. So, the lowest intensity of bhakti towards God, Madhyama Bhakti, is a rarer form of bhakti towards God, a more mature bhakti, Swamiji called it, which is looking at God as the very end, the very goal of our life. And Uttama Bhakti is where we are now going to land, is the bhakti wherein God and I are no different from each other. As we saw in the earlier classification of bhakti, love for myself is the highest and the most intense form of bhakti. So when we look at God as myself, naturally our bhakti towards that understanding of God is going to be the most intense and the highest form of bhakti. This is where we left off in the last capsule. Let us pick up the thread and continue on this lovely journey. So, extending our understanding of love or devotion to God, Swamiji asks the question, let us explore what Uttama Bhakti could be. What should be Uttama Bhakti? Uttama Bhakti is the third and rarest form of devotion or love for God. It is the most intense form of love in which I look upon God not as the means, not even as the end. All sentences, very weighty sentences. But God as non different from myself. Soham asmi. Not sogam asmi. Not I am a sad individual. No, 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 no. Saha Ahamasmi. That God is me, myself, in my higher nature. So, what does Soham Asmi mean? It means that the Lord is essentially not different from me. Therefore, the Lord and the self being identical, love of God will become equal to what? Self love. Since self love, as we saw earlier, is the most intense form of love, this form of love or devotion is called Uttama Bhakti. We saw this in the earlier classification of Bhakti, isn't it? For a Manda Bhakta, God is dear, in which he looks at God as the means. You must remember this. Always remember this. Keep reminding ourselves about this. For a Madhyama Bhakta, God is dearer because he looks at God as the end, the very goal in his life. And for an Uttama Bhakta, God is dearest because Saha Ahamasmi. There's no difference in the essential nature between God and me. Therefore, it becomes Uttama Bhakti. We will pick up this thread in the next capsule. Hari Om.